Mythology, in its broadest sense, represents humanity's earliest and most profound attempts to understand the world, our place within it, and the forces that shape our existence. These are not merely fanciful tales for children or relics of bygone eras. They are the foundational narratives of cultures, the wellsprings of belief systems, the blueprints for social structures, and the enduring inspiration for artistic expression. From the grand epics of ancient civilizations to the subtle allusions woven into modern language, the influence of mythology is pervasive, a constant undercurrent shaping our thoughts, values, and perceptions. At its core, mythology is the study of myths, traditional stories, often involving supernatural beings, ancestors, or heroes, that serve to explain the natural world, the customs and ideals of a society, or the origins of things. These narratives, passed down through generations through oral tradition, ritual performance, and eventually written form, are more than just entertainment. They are the repositories of cultural wisdom, the vehicles for transmitting moral codes, and the frameworks through which societies have historically made sense of the inexplicable. The power of mythology lies in its ability to connect with fundamental human needs and desires. It offers explanations for the mysteries of creation, the vagaries of fate, and the inevitability of death. It provides models for behavior, both heroic and cautionary, illustrating the consequences of actions and reinforcing societal values. It fosters a sense of shared identity and belonging, uniting communities through common narratives and rituals. In essence, mythology provides a cognitive and emotional framework for navigating the complexities of life and the universe. This essay will delve into the multifaceted influence of mythology on human civilization, exploring its impact across a wide range of domains. We will examine the origins and functions of myths, tracing their evolution and the diverse roles they have played in shaping human societies. We will explore how mythology has informed our understanding of the world, fostered religious beliefs, inspired artistic expression, enriched our language, and influenced our social and political structures. By examining examples from diverse cultures across the globe, we will uncover the enduring echoes of myth in our contemporary world, demonstrating its continued relevance and profound impact on the human experience. The journey through the realm of mythology will reveal its lasting power as a fundamental force in shaping who we are, how we think, and how we interact with the world around us. The genesis of narrative, origins and primary functions of mythology. The emergence of mythology is inextricably linked with the development of human consciousness and the formation of early societies. As our ancestors began to ponder the mysteries of the world around them, the rising and setting of the sun, the changing seasons, the unpredictable forces of nature, they sought explanations that transcended mere observation. In the absence of scientific understanding, myths arose as a primary means of making sense of the universe and their place within it. These narratives, initially shared orally around communal fires and during ritualistic gatherings, formed the bedrock of cultural understanding and identity. One of the most fundamental functions of mythology is its explanatory power. Early myths often sought to answer the why behind the world's phenomena. Creation myths, found in virtually every culture, attempt to explain the origins of the universe, the earth, and humanity itself. From the Babylonian Enuma Elish, which describes the creation of the cosmos from the primordial waters, to the Greek myth of Gaia and Uranus giving birth to the Titans and eventually the Olympian gods, these narratives provided cosmogonic accounts that offered a sense of order and understanding to the seemingly chaotic universe. Similarly, myths about gods and goddesses often attributed natural events, storms, harvests, earthquakes, to their actions, emotions, or interventions, providing a sense of agency and predictability in a world governed by forces beyond human control. Beyond explaining the natural world, mythology also served a crucial social and moral function. Myths often embody the values, beliefs, and social norms of a particular culture, acting as vehicles for transmitting ethical principles and guiding social conduct. Heroic myths, for instance, frequently celebrate virtues such as courage, loyalty, perseverance, and selflessness, providing role models for individuals within the society to emulate. The trials and tribulations faced by heroes like Gilgamesh, Heracles, or King Arthur offer lessons in morality, demonstrating the rewards of virtuous behavior and the consequences of transgression. Conversely, myths featuring tricksters or those who defy the gods often serve as cautionary tales, highlighting the dangers of hubris, greed, or disobedience and reinforcing the importance of adhering to social order and cultural norms. Another vital function of mythology is its psychological role. Myths can provide individuals with a sense of meaning and purpose in life, helping to address existential anxieties and fears. Stories about the afterlife, such as the Egyptian belief in the journey through the underworld or the Greek concept of Elysium and Hades, offer comfort and hope in the face of death. Myths about the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, found in many cultures, can provide a sense of continuity and reassurance. Furthermore, mythology can contribute to the formation of individual and collective identity, providing a shared sense of history, heritage, and belonging. The archetypal figures and recurring themes found in myths resonate with universal human experiences, tapping into deep-seated psychological needs and desires for understanding, connection, and meaning. Mythology also plays a significant ritualistic function in many societies. Myths often provide the narrative basis for religious rituals and ceremonies, explaining their origins and justifying their practice. Religious rituals may reenact or commemorate events described in myths, reinforcing the connection between the human and the divine and strengthening the bonds of the community. For example, the ancient Greek rituals associated with the god Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, were deeply rooted in the myths surrounding his birth, death, and resurrection. Similarly, many agricultural societies have myths and rituals related to fertility, planting, and harvesting, ensuring the continuation of life and sustenance through symbolic acts that mirror mythological narratives. Finally, mythology serves a crucial historical and cultural function. While not always historically accurate in a literal sense, myths often preserve cultural memories and traditions, transmitting knowledge about the past and shaping a society's understanding of its own history and origins. Origin myths, for instance, may explain the founding of a city, the lineage of a ruling family, or the unique characteristics of a particular group of people, providing a sense of historical continuity and legitimacy. Furthermore, myths can act as a repository of cultural knowledge, preserving information about traditional customs, beliefs, practices, and the natural world. They serve as a vital link between generations, ensuring the transmission of cultural heritage and the maintenance of a unique cultural identity over time. In essence, the genesis of mythology lies in humanity's innate drive to comprehend the world and our place within it. These early narratives served a multitude of essential functions, providing explanations, transmitting values, addressing psychological needs, underpinning rituals, and preserving cultural memory. The multifaceted nature of mythology underscores its fundamental importance in the development of human societies and its enduring influence on our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Shaping the lens, mythology and the formation of worldviews. Mythology plays a pivotal role in shaping the fundamental beliefs, assumptions, and values that underpin a culture's worldview, the overarching framework through which people perceive reality, understand their place in the universe, and interact with each other and their environment. Different mythologies offer distinct perspectives on the nature of existence, the role of humanity, the forces that govern the cosmos, and the relationship between the seen and unseen worlds. Examining the mythologies of various cultures reveals the diverse and profound ways in which these narratives have shaped philosophical thought, scientific inquiry, or its absence in early stages, and the very fabric of societal structures. Ancient Greek mythology, for instance, presents a worldview characterized by a complex pantheon of anthropomorphic gods and goddesses who actively intervene in human affairs. The concept of fate, or yore, is a central tenet, suggesting that even the gods are bound by certain predetermined destinies. This emphasis on fate and the often capricious nature of the divine shaped Greek philosophical thought, influencing ideas about causality, human agency, and the limitations of human knowledge. While Greek mythology did not directly lead to modern scientific inquiry, it fostered a spirit of intellectual curiosity and a tradition of rational inquiry that laid the groundwork for later scientific advancements in the Hellenistic period. The heroic myths of figures like Heracles, Odysseus, and Achilles celebrated human potential and resilience, while the tragic tales of figures like Oedipus and Antigone explored themes of hubris, destiny, and the complexities of the human condition, profoundly influencing Western literature and drama. Greek society was structured around the worship of these deities, with temples, rituals, and festivals playing a central role in daily life and reinforcing the mythological worldview. In contrast, Norse mythology offers a worldview steeped in the imagery of cosmic battles, the inevitability of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, and the cyclical nature of time. The focus is on courage, honor, loyalty, and the acceptance of fate in the face of overwhelming odds. The Norse gods, while powerful, are not immortal and are destined to perish in the final battle against the forces of chaos. This emphasis on heroism and stoicism in the face of cosmic destruction profoundly shaped the values of Viking society, known for its warrior culture, seafaring prowess, and a worldview that embraced both the beauty and the brutality of the natural world. While Norse mythology did not lead to formal scientific inquiry in the same way as Greek thought, it fostered a deep and practical understanding of the natural world, particularly the sea and the harsh landscapes of Scandinavia, which was essential for their survival, exploration, and trade. Egyptian mythology presents a worldview centered on the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, deeply intertwined with the annual flooding of the Nile River, which was seen as the source of all life. The belief in a complex afterlife and the importance of preserving the body for the journey through the underworld shaped Egyptian funerary practices, the construction of elaborate tombs and pyramids, and the development of mummification techniques. The pharaoh was seen as a divine intermediary between the gods and humanity, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, the cosmic order and justice. This concept of divine kingship and the emphasis on order and stability influenced Egyptian social and political structures for millennia, creating a highly centralized and hierarchical society. Egyptian mythology also contributed to early advancements in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, driven by the need to understand the celestial cycles for agricultural purposes and religious observances, as well as to prepare the deceased for the afterlife. Indigenous African mythologies, such as those of the Yoruba and Igbo people of Nigeria, often emphasize the interconnectedness of the spiritual and physical realms, with a strong reverence for ancestors and nature spirits. The Yoruba pantheon of Orishas represents various aspects of nature and human experience, and their interactions shape the events of the world. Igbo cosmology emphasizes the importance of balance and harmony between the individual, the community, and the spiritual world, with a belief in reincarnation and the ongoing influence of ancestors on the living. These mythologies often inform traditional religious practices, social customs, artistic expressions, and ethical systems, fostering a worldview that emphasizes community, respect for elders, and a deep connection to the land and its resources. While not focused on scientific inquiry in the Western sense, these mythologies embody a rich ecological wisdom and a holistic understanding of the environment, passed down through generations through oral tradition and ritual. East Asian mythologies, such as those of China and Japan, often emphasize concepts of harmony, balance, and the importance of ancestors. Chinese mythology, for instance, features a complex cosmology with deities governing various aspects of nature and human life, as well as legendary emperors and cultural heroes who shaped Chinese civilization. The concept of yin and yang, representing complementary and opposing forces, is central to Chinese philosophy and worldview, influencing everything from medicine to art to social interactions. Ancestor veneration plays a significant role, reflecting the belief in the continued influence of the deceased on the living and the importance of filial piety. Japanese mythology, with its creation myths involving the gods Izanagi and Izanami and the subsequent creation of the Japanese islands and deities, emphasizes the sacredness of nature and the divine ancestry of the imperial family. These mythologies have profoundly influenced social hierarchies, ethical systems, such as Confucianism in China and Shintoism in Japan, and artistic traditions in East Asia, fostering a worldview that values social harmony, respect for authority, and a deep appreciation for the natural world. They have also contributed to advancements in areas such as astronomy, medicine, and mathematics, often integrated with philosophical and cosmological beliefs. In conclusion, mythology serves as a foundational layer upon which cultures build their understanding of the world. The narratives, characters, and themes within a culture's mythology shape its values, beliefs, and assumptions about reality. This, in turn, influences philosophical thought, the pursuit of knowledge, and the development of social and political structures. By examining the diverse mythologies of different cultures, we gain a deeper appreciation for the myriad ways in which humanity has sought to make sense of existence and our place within the vast cosmos. These mythological worldviews, while diverse, all share the fundamental purpose of providing a coherent framework for understanding the universe and guiding human behavior within it, and their influence continues to resonate in contemporary societies, shaping cultural values and influencing our perceptions of the world around us. The sacred narrative, mythology, and the development of religion. The relationship between mythology and religion is deeply intertwined, often to the point of being virtually inseparable in many cultures. Myths frequently form the foundational narratives upon which religious beliefs and practices are built, providing the stories that explain the origins of religious traditions, the nature of the divine, and the relationship between humanity and the sacred. These narratives often feature gods, goddesses, demigods, and other spiritual entities whose actions and interactions shape the religious landscape of a culture, dictating rituals, moral codes, and the understanding of the supernatural. Religious rituals and ceremonies frequently reenact or commemorate events described in these foundational myths, reinforcing the beliefs and values of the religious community and strengthening their connection to the divine. In many ancient cultures, mythology and religion were inextricably linked. The myths about the Greek gods and goddesses, for example, were not just entertaining stories, they formed the very basis of the ancient Greek religion. Temples were dedicated to specific deities, festivals were held in their honor, and rituals were performed to appease them, seek their favor, or commemorate events from their mythological narratives. The actions, attributes, and relationships of gods like Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, and Athena provided a framework for understanding the forces of nature, human affairs, and the moral order of the cosmos. Similarly, the myths of ancient Egypt, featuring gods like Ra, Osiris, Isis, and Horus, were central to Egyptian religious beliefs and practices, including the elaborate rituals surrounding death, mummification, and the journey to the afterlife. The pharaoh's divine status, as the living embodiment of Horus, was also deeply rooted in these mythological narratives, further solidifying the connection between mythology and religion in Egyptian society and reinforcing the divine basis of their political system. The influence of mythology is also clearly evident in the development of major world religions. For instance, the Hebrew Bible, which forms the foundation of Judaism and Christianity, contains numerous narratives that can be considered mythological in their function, if not always in their literal interpretation. The creation story in Genesis, the account of the Garden of Eden, the story of Noah's Ark, and the tales of miracles performed by prophets like Moses and Elijah all serve to explain the origins of the world, the relationship between God and humanity, and divine intervention in human history. These narratives form the basis of religious beliefs, doctrines, and practices, shaping the worldview, moral codes, and rituals of millions of people across centuries. Similarly, the New Testament of the Bible, central to Christianity, is replete with mythological elements, particularly the stories surrounding the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. These narratives, which depict Jesus as the Son of God performing miracles, suffering for humanity's sins, and rising from the dead, form the core of Christian theology and belief. Religious rituals like baptism, communion, and the celebration of Easter are directly linked to these mythological events, reinforcing their significance for believers and providing a framework for their faith. Islam, while often emphasizing its monotheistic nature and historical authenticity, also incorporates narratives that function in a mythological way. The stories of the prophets, including Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, as well as the accounts of the early history of Islam and the life of the Prophet Muhammad, serve to explain the origins of the faith, the nature of God's revelations, and the ideal conduct for believers. The Quran itself contains many narratives that provide moral guidance, illustrate the relationship between God and humanity, and recount significant events in the history of Islam, shaping the beliefs and practices of Muslims worldwide. In Eastern religions like Hinduism, mythology plays an even more prominent and overt role. The Hindu pantheon is vast and complex, with numerous gods and goddesses, each with their own intricate stories, attributes, consorts, and vehicles. Myths about deities like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Lakshmi, and Saraswati explain the creation, preservation, and destruction of the universe, as well as the principles of dharma, righteous conduct, karma, action and consequence, and moksha, liberation. Hindu religious practices, including temple worship, festivals, pilgrimages, and the recitation of sacred texts, are often centered around these mythological figures and their stories, reinforcing their significance and shaping the religious lives of millions of Hindus. The great epics of Hinduism, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, are rich in mythological narratives that continue to shape Hindu beliefs, values, cultural identity, and ethical understanding. Buddhism, while often considered a philosophy or way of life, also incorporates mythological elements, particularly in its various schools and traditions. The life story of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, is itself a foundational myth, depicting his journey to enlightenment, his renunciation of worldly pleasures, and the establishment of the Buddhist teachings. Stories about bodhisattvas, enlightened beings who postpone their own nirvana to help others achieve enlightenment, also play a significant role in Buddhist mythology, inspiring compassion, altruism, and the pursuit of enlightenment among followers. Various Buddhist rituals and festivals often commemorate events from the Buddha's life or the stories of important bodhisattvas. In many indigenous religions around the world, mythology is not just a component of religion, it is often the very foundation of religious belief and practice. The myths of indigenous peoples frequently explain the origins of their communities, their sacred connection to the land, and their relationship with the spirit world. These narratives are often passed down through oral tradition, sacred songs, and ritual performances, and they are central to ceremonies, social customs, and the overall worldview of the community. The spirits of ancestors, nature spirits, and other supernatural beings feature prominently in these mythologies, shaping the religious worldview and practices of these communities and guiding their interactions with the natural world. In conclusion, mythology has played a crucial and pervasive role in the development of religion across cultures and throughout history. Myths provide the foundational narratives that explain the origins of religious traditions, the nature of the divine, and the intricate relationship between humanity and the sacred. Religious beliefs, doctrines, and practices are often deeply intertwined with these mythological narratives, with rituals and ceremonies serving to commemorate, reenact, or symbolize key events and themes from the mythological narratives. Whether in ancient polytheistic religions or major world faiths, the influence of mythology on the development, expression, and sustenance of religious belief is undeniable, shaping the spiritual lives and moral frameworks of countless individuals and societies. The Muse of Ages, Mythology and the Arts. Mythology has served as an inexhaustible wellspring of inspiration for artistic expression across a vast array of mediums and throughout the entire history of human civilization. The compelling narratives, vivid characters, profound themes, and rich symbolism found in myths have captivated artists and audiences alike, leading to the creation of countless masterpieces in literature, visual art, music, performing arts, architecture, and, in more recent times, film, television, and digital media. The archetypal figures and timeless stories of mythology continue to resonate with artists across cultures and generations, providing a rich and enduring source of material for creative interpretation, adaptation, and innovation. Literature is perhaps the art form most directly and profoundly influenced by mythology. The earliest forms of written literature, such as the epic poems of ancient Greece like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, are deeply rooted in mythology. These epic tales recount the adventures of heroes like Achilles and Odysseus, drawing upon a rich tapestry of gods, goddesses, mythical creatures, and legendary events from Greek mythology. The themes explored in these works, such as love, loss, courage, fate, and the complexities of human nature, continue to resonate with readers millennia later, establishing foundational narratives and literary conventions that have influenced Western literature for centuries. Similarly, Virgil's Aeneid, the Roman national epic, draws heavily on Greek mythology to tell the story of Aeneas and the founding of Rome, solidifying the mythological foundations of Roman identity. Mythology continued to inspire writers throughout the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. The Arthurian legends, with their tales of King Arthur, Merlin, the Knights of the Round Table, and the quest for the Holy Grail, draw upon Celtic mythology and folklore and have been retold and reimagined countless times in poetry, prose, and drama. Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, a cornerstone of Western literature, incorporates elements of classical mythology, particularly in its vivid and allegorical depiction of the underworld, drawing upon figures and concepts from Greek and Roman mythology. William Shakespeare frequently drew upon classical myths for his plays, such as A Midsummer Night's Dream, which features characters from Greek mythology, and Titus Andronicus, which draws inspiration from the myth of Philomela. In more modern times, mythology continues to be a significant and fertile source of inspiration for literature. Authors like James Joyce in Ulysses, which reimagines Homer's Odyssey in a modern Dublin setting, T.S. Eliot in The Waste Land, which is replete with allusions to various myths and legends, and Margaret Atwood in The Penelopiad, which offers a feminist retelling of the Odyssey from Penelope's perspective, have all engaged with classical myths in contemporary contexts. The fantasy genre, in particular, owes a significant debt to mythology, with authors like J.R.R. Tolkien drawing upon Norse, Celtic, and other European mythologies to create the rich and immersive world of Middle-earth in works like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Contemporary authors continue to engage with mythological themes from diverse cultures around the world, exploring their enduring relevance to the human condition and using them to comment on contemporary social and political issues. Visual arts have also been profoundly and consistently influenced by mythology throughout history. From ancient Greek pottery depicting scenes from the Trojan War and Roman sculptures of gods and goddesses to Byzantine mosaics illustrating biblical narratives and Renaissance paintings celebrating classical myths, mythological subjects have been a staple of visual art for centuries. During the Renaissance, with its renewed interest in classical culture, artists like Sandro Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo frequently depicted mythological scenes in their paintings and sculptures, reflecting the intellectual and artistic climate of the time. Botticelli's The Birth of Venus and Michelangelo's David are iconic examples of this profound influence. Throughout the Baroque, Rococo, and Neoclassical periods, mythological themes continued to be immensely popular among artists. Painters like Peter Paul Rubens, Nicolas Poussin, and Jacques-Louis David created grand and dramatic canvases depicting scenes from classical myths, often emphasizing heroic figures and dramatic narratives. Sculptors like Antonio Canova also drew significant inspiration from mythology, creating elegant and idealized figures of gods and goddesses that embodied the aesthetic ideals of their respective eras. In more recent times, artists have continued to engage with mythology in diverse and innovative ways. Surrealist artists like Salvador Dali and René Magritte explored the dreamlike, symbolic, and often irrational aspects of myth in their work, drawing upon mythological imagery to convey subconscious themes and challenge conventional perceptions. Contemporary artists often reinterpret and subvert traditional mythological narratives, using them to comment on contemporary social and political issues, explore personal identities, or engage with cultural heritage. Music has also found significant inspiration in mythology across various genres and historical periods. Operas, in particular, have frequently drawn upon mythological stories for their librettos, providing dramatic narratives and larger-than-life characters that lend themselves well to musical interpretation. Composers like Claudio Monteverdi, Henry Purcell, Christoph Willibald Gluck, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart all wrote influential operas based on classical myths, such as Orfeo, Dido and Aeneas, Orfeo ed Eurydice, and Idomeneo. In the Romantic era, composers like Richard Wagner created monumental opera cycles, such as Der Ring des Nibelungen, based on Germanic and Norse mythology, exploring themes of heroism, fate, and redemption on a grand scale. In the 20th and 21st centuries, composers continue to explore mythological themes in their works, often blending them with contemporary musical styles and incorporating influences from diverse cultural mythologies. Performing arts, including dance and theater, have also been deeply influenced by mythology. Ancient Greek tragedies, such as Sophocles' Oedipus Rex and Euripides' Medea, are based directly on mythological stories and explore timeless themes of fate, justice, human suffering, and the complexities of morality. These plays have had a profound and lasting impact on Western dramatic tradition. Ballet has also frequently drawn upon mythological narratives, with iconic ballets like Swan Lake, drawing upon folklore and possibly some mythological elements, and The Sleeping Beauty, based on a fairy tale with mythological undertones, captivating audiences with the visual spectacle and narrative power. Modern dance choreographers have also found inspiration in mythological themes, reinterpreting ancient stories through contemporary movement and exploring their psychological and symbolic dimensions. Architecture has also been influenced by mythology, particularly in the design and ornamentation of temples and other sacred structures. Ancient Greek temples were often dedicated to specific gods and goddesses, with their architectural style and sculptural decorations reflecting the attributes and stories associated with those deities. The Parthenon in Athens, dedicated to the goddess Athena, is a prime example of this harmonious relationship between mythology and architecture. Similarly, Roman temples were often built to honor their pantheon of gods, incorporating architectural elements and decorative motifs that reflected their beliefs. In other cultures, architectural designs may incorporate symbolic elements and cosmological representations drawn directly from their mythology, reflecting the society's worldview and spiritual beliefs. In the modern era, film, television, and digital media have become incredibly powerful mediums for retelling and reimagining mythological stories for a global audience. Numerous films have been based on Greek mythology, such as Jason and the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans, and Troy, bringing these ancient tales to life with visual effects and contemporary storytelling techniques. Norse mythology has also seen a significant resurgence in popular culture with films like the Thor series and television shows like Vikings, captivating audiences with their epic scope and compelling characters. Other mythologies from around the world, including Egyptian, Native American, and East Asian mythology, have also been explored in film, television, and video games, demonstrating the enduring and universal appeal of these ancient narratives. In conclusion, mythology has exerted a profound and pervasive influence on the arts across various forms and throughout history. From the earliest epic poems and cave paintings to contemporary films and video games, artists have consistently drawn upon the rich narratives, compelling characters, and timeless themes of mythology for inspiration. These mythological stories continue to resonate with audiences, providing not only entertainment but also enlightenment, cultural understanding, and a deeper exploration of the human condition. The enduring and dynamic relationship between mythology and the arts underscores the fundamental role of storytelling in human culture and the remarkable power of myth to transcend time, cultural boundaries, and artistic mediums. The language of legends. Mythology and language and symbolism. Mythology has profoundly enriched human language, imbuing it with a wealth of metaphors, idioms, allusions, and proper nouns that continue to be used in everyday speech and writing. The characters, stories, and themes from mythology, particularly those of classical Greek and Roman mythology, have become so deeply ingrained in Western culture that references to them can often convey complex ideas, emotions, or situations with a single word or phrase. Furthermore, mythology is a rich and enduring source of symbolism, with particular figures, creatures, objects, and events often representing broader concepts, archetypes, or universal human experiences that resonate across cultures and generations. The impact of classical Greek and Roman mythology on the English language is particularly significant and pervasive. Numerous words and phrases in common usage have their direct origins in these ancient myths. For example, the term narcissism comes directly from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a beautiful young man who fell in love with his own reflection. The idiom, opening Pandora's box, refers to the Greek myth of Pandora, who opened a jar, often mistranslated as a box, releasing all the evils of the world. The expression, Achilles' heel, derives from the story of the hero Achilles, who was invulnerable except for a single spot on his heel. These are just a few prominent examples of how mythological figures and stories have given rise to common idioms, expressions, and psychological terms that add depth, color, and historical context to our language. Beyond direct derivations, mythological figures often serve as powerful and instantly recognizable metaphors. Someone described as having Herculean strength is being directly compared to the Greek hero Heracles, Hercules in Roman mythology, renowned for his immense physical power and legendary feats. A complex or treacherous situation described as a Trojan horse alludes to the deceptive tactic used by the Greeks to enter the city of Troy, suggesting hidden dangers, treachery, or a seemingly harmless facade concealing a threat. These metaphorical uses of mythological references allow for concise, evocative, and culturally resonant communication, adding layers of meaning to our language. Mythology has also contributed significantly to the names of celestial bodies, days of the week, and even scientific terms. The planets in our solar system are almost entirely named after Roman gods and goddesses, such as Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Neptune, and Pluto, though Pluto is now classified as a dwarf planet. The days of the week in many European languages are derived from the names of Norse and Roman deities, such as Thor's Day, Thursday, Odin's Day, Wednesday, and Saturn's Day, Saturday. In science, numerous terms have mythological origins, such as arachnid, from the Greek myth of Arachne, a skilled weaver who was turned into a spider, atlas, referring to a collection of maps, from the Greek Titan Atlas who held up the sky, and even the geological term, volcano, derived from Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. These examples demonstrate the lasting and often unconscious influence of mythology on our scientific and everyday vocabulary. The symbolic significance of mythological figures, creatures, and events is another crucial aspect of mythology's profound influence on language and culture. Archetypes, recurring patterns of character, plot, or image found in literature, art, and mythology across diverse cultures, often draw directly upon mythological figures and themes. Carl Jung, a prominent psychologist, argued that these archetypes are part of the collective unconscious, representing universal human experiences, motivations, and psychological patterns. Figures like the hero, the trickster, the wise old man, the great mother, and the shadow are common archetypes found in myths across the globe, and they continue to resonate powerfully with audiences in contemporary storytelling, literature, and film. Mythological creatures, such as dragons, unicorns, phoenixes, and griffins, also carry rich and often complex symbolic meanings that have been adopted and adapted in various cultural contexts. Dragons, for instance, often represent chaos, danger, and the unknown, but can also symbolize power, wisdom, and transformation. Unicorns are often associated with purity, innocence, healing, and grace. The phoenix, a mythical bird that rises from the ashes of its own destruction, is a potent symbol of rebirth, resilience, immortality, and the cyclical nature of time. These symbolic meanings have permeated literature, art, heraldry, and popular culture, adding layers of interpretation and understanding to these fantastical creatures. Mythological events and themes also hold significant symbolic weight and have become ingrained in our linguistic and cultural understanding. The journey to the underworld, a common motif in myths like the Greek story of Orpheus and Eurydice or the Egyptian myth of Osiris, often symbolizes a descent into the unconscious, a period of transformation, a confrontation with death, or a symbolic journey of self-discovery. The theme of the quest, as seen in the story of Jason and the Argonauts or the Arthurian search for the Holy Grail, represents the pursuit of knowledge, self-discovery, a higher purpose, or something of great value. These recurring themes and symbolic patterns in mythology provide a fundamental framework for understanding universal human experiences, aspirations, and challenges, and they continue to inform our storytelling and our interpretation of the world around us. Furthermore, the influence of mythology on language extends to the very structure and function of storytelling. Many narrative tropes, plot devices, and character archetypes found in modern literature, film, and other forms of storytelling have their roots in ancient myths. The hero's journey, a common narrative pattern identified by Joseph Campbell, draws heavily on mythological archetypes and structural elements found in myths from around the world. This pattern, which involves a hero who embarks on an adventure, faces trials and tribulations, encounters mentors and allies, undergoes a transformative experience, and ultimately returns changed, can be found in countless myths and continues to be a popular and effective framework for contemporary storytelling across various genres. In conclusion, mythology has profoundly and pervasively influenced human language and symbolism. It has enriched our vocabulary with a vast array of metaphors, idioms, allusions, and proper nouns derived from ancient myths, allowing for more evocative, nuanced, and culturally resonant communication. Mythological figures, creatures, and events carry rich and often multifaceted symbolic meanings that resonate across cultures and inform our understanding of universal human experiences and psychological patterns. The archetypal patterns and narrative structures found in mythology continue to shape the way we tell and understand stories in the modern world. The enduring and dynamic influence of mythology on language and symbolism underscores its fundamental role in shaping human thought, communication, and cultural understanding. The social script, mythology and social structures and political systems. Mythology has often been intricately and powerfully linked with the formation, maintenance, and justification of social structures and political systems throughout history. Myths have been skillfully employed to legitimize social hierarchies, explain the origins of societal customs and institutions, justify the exercise of political power, and provide a unifying narrative framework for national identities. By establishing divine origins, explaining social roles and responsibilities, and reinforcing moral codes, mythology has played a significant and often enduring role in shaping the way societies are organized, governed, and understood. One of the most prominent ways in which mythology has influenced social structures is through the concept of divine right or divine ancestry. In many ancient civilizations, rulers claimed direct descent from gods or were considered to be divinely appointed or sanctioned. This belief, often meticulously crafted and reinforced through elaborate mythological narratives, served to legitimize their authority, elevate their status above ordinary mortals, and maintain social order. For example, the pharaohs of ancient Egypt were believed to be the living embodiment of the god Horus, granting them absolute power and a central role in both the religious and political life of the nation. Similarly, the emperors of Japan traditionally claimed a direct lineage tracing back to the sun goddess Amaterasu, providing a powerful divine mandate for their imperial rule and reinforcing the unique position within Japanese society. In other societies, mythology has been strategically used to justify existing social hierarchies and inequalities. The Hindu caste system, for instance, has been historically linked to the creation myth in the Rig Veda, which describes the four varnas, social classes, originating from different parts of the cosmic being Purusha. While interpretations of this myth have varied over time and have been subject to significant social and political debate, it has been used for centuries to rationalize the hierarchical structure of Hindu society and to reinforce the perceived duties and obligations associated with each caste. Similarly, myths about the origins of different tribes, clans, or social groups can be used to reinforce existing power dynamics, explain perceived differences, and justify social distinctions within a community. Mythology also plays a crucial role in shaping social norms, gender roles, and family structures within a society. Myths often depict the roles, responsibilities, and expected behaviors of men and women, providing cultural models for individuals to emulate and reinforcing societal expectations. For example, in ancient Greek mythology, goddesses like Athena were associated with wisdom, warfare, and crafts, while goddesses like Hera were associated with marriage, family, and domesticity. These mythological representations could influence societal perceptions of appropriate gender roles and expectations for male and female behavior within the community. Similarly, myths about the creation of humanity often establish fundamental ideas about the relationship between men and women, their perceived strengths and weaknesses, and their respective roles in procreation, family life, and the broader social sphere. Furthermore, mythology has been instrumental in the development of national identities and the creation of collective narratives that bind people together. Origin myths, which tell the story of a nation's founding or the mythical origins of its people, can foster a powerful sense of shared history, culture, and destiny, creating a cohesive national identity. The Roman myth of Romulus and Remus, as mentioned earlier, provided a compelling and enduring narrative for the founding of Rome and contributed significantly to Roman identity, pride, and the justification of their imperial ambitions. Similarly, the various myths and legends surrounding King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table have played a significant role in shaping British national identity and cultural imagination over centuries. National myths often highlight heroic figures, pivotal historical events, often imbued with mythical significance, and shared cultural values, creating a sense of unity, common purpose, and collective belonging among the people of a nation. Mythology can also be skillfully used to justify specific political actions, ideologies, and the legitimacy of rulers or political systems. For example, during times of war or conflict, myths about national heroes, past victories, and divine favor can be invoked to rally public support, legitimize military action, and inspire courage and sacrifice. Political leaders may also strategically draw upon established mythological narratives, symbols, and rhetoric to frame their policies and agendas in a way that resonates with shared cultural values and beliefs, thereby garnering public approval and reinforcing their authority. The use of mythological symbolism and language can be a particularly powerful tool for political mobilization, persuasion, and the construction of political legitimacy. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that the influence of mythology on social structures and political systems is not always straightforward, benign, or equitable. Myths can also be used to perpetuate injustice, reinforce oppressive hierarchies, and justify discrimination against certain groups within a society. When particular groups are depicted as inherently superior, divinely favored, or possessing a special destiny. In mythological narratives, it can lead to the marginalization, oppression, and even dehumanization of other groups perceived as less worthy or divinely sanctioned. Therefore, a critical and nuanced analysis of mythology is essential to understanding its complex and sometimes problematic influence on social and political life, recognizing its potential to both unite and divide societies. In more contemporary contexts, while the direct and overt reliance on mythology for political legitimacy may have diminished in many societies with the rise of secularism and democratic principles, mythological archetypes, narratives, and symbols continue to resonate in political discourse, popular culture, and the construction of national and cultural identities. The hero's journey archetype, for example, is frequently used to frame political leaders as heroic figures who overcome challenges and led their people towards a better future. Similarly, national myths, often selectively interpreted and reinterpreted, continue to shape collective identities, influence political debates, and inform national policies. In conclusion, mythology has played a significant, multifaceted, and often enduring role in shaping social structures and political systems throughout history. From legitimizing the rule of kings and emperors through claims of divine descent to reinforcing social hierarchies through creation myths and fostering national identities through origin stories, myths have provided powerful and persuasive narratives that influence how societies are organized, governed, and understood. While the direct influence of mythology on politics may have evolved in the modern era, its underlying power to shape beliefs, values, and collective identities remains a significant factor in social and political life. Understanding the intricate interplay between mythology and social and political systems is crucial for comprehending the historical development of human societies, the dynamics of power, and the enduring influence of these ancient stories on the world we live in today. The enduring legacy. Mythology in the modern world. Despite the remarkable advancements of science, the rise of secularism, and the increasing globalization of culture, mythology continues to hold a significant and often surprising relevance in the modern world. While we may no longer rely on myths to provide literal explanations for natural phenomena or to directly justify social hierarchies in the same way our ancestors did, the enduring power of these ancient stories lies in their ability to address fundamental human needs, inspire creativity across various domains, and provide profound insights into the complexities of the human condition. One of the primary reasons for the continued relevance of mythology in the modern world is its profound psychological appeal. Myths often tap into universal human experiences, emotions, fears, and aspirations that transcend time and cultural boundaries. The archetypal characters and recurring themes found in myths resonate with our deepest psychological needs, providing a sense of meaning, purpose, and connection to something larger than ourselves. Stories of heroes overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds, tricksters challenging the established order, and the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth continue to fascinate, inspire, and provide enduring frameworks for understanding our own lives, challenges, and transformations. In an increasingly complex, rapidly changing, and often impersonal world, mythology can offer a sense of grounding, shared humanity, and timeless wisdom. Mythology also continues to be an inexhaustible wellspring of inspiration for literature, art, and popular culture. Contemporary authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, and game developers frequently draw upon mythological narratives, characters, symbols, and themes in their creative works. From modern adaptations of classical Greek myths in novels and films to the incorporation of Norse mythology in blockbuster movies and video games, and the exploration of diverse mythologies from around the world in various artistic forms, these ancient stories are constantly being reimagined, reinterpreted, and adapted for new audiences. This ongoing and vibrant engagement with mythology demonstrates its enduring power to captivate, entertain, and inspire creative expression across a wide range of mediums. The timeless themes and archetypal figures found in myths provide a rich and versatile source of material for exploring contemporary issues, examining the complexities of the human experience, and offering fresh perspectives on age-old questions. Furthermore, mythology plays a crucial role in understanding cultural phenomena and historical contexts. Many contemporary customs, beliefs, social practices, and artistic traditions have their roots in ancient myths and religious traditions. Understanding the mythological background of a culture, whether it be Western, Eastern, indigenous, or any other, can provide invaluable insights into its values, worldview, historical development, and unique cultural identity. For example, understanding Greek mythology can significantly enrich our appreciation of Western literature, art, philosophy, and political thought, while knowledge of indigenous mythologies can offer a deeper understanding of the cultural heritage, perspectives, and ecological wisdom of indigenous peoples around the globe. In an increasingly interconnected and diverse world, cross-cultural understanding is more important than ever. and mythology can serve as a vital bridge to appreciating the richness and complexity of human experience across different cultures. The enduring relevance of mythology is also evident in its strategic use in advertising and marketing. Mythological archetypes, symbols, and narratives are frequently employed in advertising campaigns to tap into consumer desires, create emotional connections with brands, and make products and services more memorable and appealing. For instance, the archetype of the hero might be used to market a product as empowering or transformative, while the archetype of the caregiver might be used to promote products associated with nurturing and protection. The familiarity, cultural resonance, and inherent symbolic power of these mythological figures and themes can be a remarkably effective tool in shaping consumer perceptions, influencing purchasing decisions, and building brand loyalty. In recent years, there has also been a notable resurgence of interest in mythology in areas like self-help, personal growth, and the exploration of the human psyche. The archetypal patterns, symbolic language, and narrative structures of mythology are being explored as valuable tools for understanding personal challenges, identifying recurring life patterns, fostering personal transformation, and navigating major life transitions. Concepts like the hero's journey, with its stages of departure, initiation, and return, are being applied to individual development, providing a framework for understanding personal growth, overcoming obstacles, and achieving self-discovery. This renewed interest suggests that mythology continues to offer profound insights into the human psyche, the process of individuation, and the search for meaning in our lives. Moreover, in a world grappling with complex ethical and moral questions, mythology can provide valuable ethical frameworks, moral lessons, and opportunities for reflection. While not all myths offer straightforward or universally applicable moral guidance, many explore fundamental questions of right and wrong, justice, responsibility, the consequences of human actions, and the complexities of human relationships. Engaging with these narratives can stimulate critical thinking about ethical dilemmas, provide a deeper understanding of the nuances of human morality, and offer a rich context for discussing contemporary ethical challenges. In conclusion, despite the scientific and technological advancements of the modern world, mythology remains profoundly relevant and continues to exert a significant influence on human thought, culture, and society. Its psychological appeal, its enduring inspiration for the arts and popular culture, its crucial role in understanding cultural phenomena and historical contexts, its strategic use in marketing and advertising, its potential for personal growth and self-discovery, and its capacity to inform ethical reflection all contribute to its continued significance. Mythology is not merely a collection of ancient tales relegated to the past but a living and evolving tradition that continues to shape our understanding of ourselves, our world, and our place within the grand and ongoing narrative of human existence. By engaging with these ancient stories, we can gain valuable insights into the enduring human condition, the diversity of human experience, and the remarkable power of storytelling to shape our lives and our societies. Conclusion: the unfading tapestry of myth. In conclusion, the exploration of mythology reveals its profound and multifaceted influence on human civilization, a legacy that stretches from the dawn of consciousness to the complexities of the modern world. From its origins as a fundamental means of explaining the universe and establishing social order to its enduring presence in art, language, religion, and contemporary culture, mythology has served as an indispensable force shaping human thought, belief, expression, and the very fabric of our societies. The foundational narratives of mythology have provided essential frameworks for understanding the world, the origins of life, and the often unpredictable forces that govern our existence. They have served as powerful vehicles for transmitting social and moral values across generations, addressing deep-seated psychological needs for meaning and connection, underpinning the development of religious rituals and beliefs, and preserving the vital cultural memory and heritage of communities around the globe. Different mythologies, arising from diverse cultural contexts, have shaped distinct and fascinating worldviews, profoundly influencing philosophical thought, the pursuit of knowledge, and the evolution of societal structures. The intricate relationship between mythology and religion is undeniable, with myths often forming the sacred narratives that lie at the heart of religious traditions, explaining the nature of the divine and guiding spiritual practices. Mythology has also served as an inexhaustible wellspring of inspiration for the arts across a vast array of mediums, from the earliest forms of storytelling to contemporary literature, visual arts, music, performing arts, and the ever-evolving landscape of digital media. The rich characters, compelling stories, and timeless themes of mythology continue to resonate with artists and audiences alike, providing a constant source of creative inspiration and cultural reflection. Furthermore, mythology has profoundly enriched human language, imbuing it with a wealth of metaphors, idioms, and allusions that continue to shape our communication and understanding. Its symbolic significance permeates our cultural consciousness, providing a shared vocabulary of meaning that transcends time and cultural boundaries. Myths have also played a significant and often complex role in shaping social structures and political systems throughout history, used to legitimize power, reinforce hierarchies, and foster the development of national identities and collective narratives. Despite the remarkable advancements of the modern world, mythology remains profoundly relevant. Its enduring psychological appeal, its continued inspiration for the arts, its crucial role in understanding culture and history, its strategic use in contemporary marketing, its potential for personal growth and self-discovery, and its capacity to inform ethical reflection all contribute to its continued significance in our lives. The enduring power of myths lies in their ability to tap into universal human experiences, provide a sense of meaning and purpose in a complex world, and connect us to a shared cultural heritage that spans millennia. By engaging with and studying mythology, we gain invaluable insights into the diversity of human cultures, the fascinating evolution of human thought, and the remarkable and enduring power of storytelling to shape our understanding of ourselves, our world, and our place within the grand and ongoing narrative of human existence. Mythology is not merely a collection of ancient tales to be relegated to the dusty shelves of history. It is a living and dynamic tradition whose influence is woven into the very fabric of human civilization, and its continued study remains essential for comprehending the complexities of our past, navigating the challenges of our present, and shaping the possibilities of our future. The unfading tapestry of myth continues to echo through the ages, reminding us of the primal power of story and its enduring influence on the human journey.